I'm Kaylee, and today I'm going to tell you about all of my favorite, more modern movies. I already did a list of my favorite old-timey classic movies, and so now I'm going to tell you about some of my favorite, slightly more modern movies. So the cutoff for these is kind of the 60s. I think I might have had one movie on my old classic movies list that was from the 60s. That was kind of the cutoff. And I think I have one in here that's more from the 70s. So from the 70s and forward is today's video. Please be sure to leave me a comment down below and let me know what is your favorite old-timey classic or your favorite more modern movie. I have 70 movies to tell you about. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna tell you like my 10 or 15 top favorites and really talk about those a little bit, and then I'll just mention the names of the rest of them because otherwise we will be here forever. Some of these are a little embarrassing. They kind of are. You're gonna be like, that's your favorite movie? That is idiotic. That is the stupidest movie ever made. And you know what? I don't care. I love it. I don't care that it's stupid, or I know it has plot holes, or I know that it's dumb, or maybe even the acting isn't that good. I don't care. I still love it. I keep going back and watching it. Sometimes I don't even know why, but well, your favorite movie is just your favorite movie, and there's just nothing you can do about that. So these, other than having my super favorites that I'm gonna talk about right now, these are not really in any particular order. My very favorite movie of all time is Singing in the Rain, which I've already talked about in my old-timey movies video. So we're just gonna jump in with some of these. Of all of the adaptations of Emma, all of them, whether movie or miniseries or whatever, my very favorite is the one with Gwyneth Paltrow and Jeremy Northam as Mr. Knightley. He is absolutely perfection in that movie. They do a really good job of capturing the humor of Emma along with the drama and the personal growth that Emma goes through as a character. I just love the way that they did it in this movie. I think Harriet is wonderful. I think Miss Bates is just completely hilarious. It's just so good. I absolutely have to have The Princess Bride on any list of favorite movies. I've watched The Princess Bride countless times. It has everything you could possibly want in a movie. Action, adventure, romance, humor, drama, it's all in there. The bad guys are so bad and the good guys are so good. And it's just such a wonderful, interesting movie with so many funny, witty little one-liners that, you know, of course you go around quoting all the time. If you're one of those people that walks around in everyday life quoting The Princess Bride, you and I need to be friends because I need more of that in my life. I really adore the North and South miniseries with Richard Armitage as John Thornton. I've said many times, John Thornton is my soulmate, and Richard Armitage is the perfect John Thornton in this adaptation of North and South. It's wonderful. This is one of my favorite classic books, and I really loved the way that they adapted it. And the acting is wonderful. The drama is so good. It's just so emotional. Fantastic. I'm including miniseries in with my movies list because in my head, a miniseries is just like a super long movie. Another favorite miniseries is Wives and Daughters. Actually, a whole bunch of these are gonna be adaptations of Elizabeth Gaskell's novels. So Wives and Daughters is absolutely wonderful. There are so many things going on with so many complex plots and subplots and characters and different relationships between people and families. I think that's what really draws me to Wives and Daughters is the family dynamics, the family love, and sometimes they get on each other's nerves too. It's just such a wonderful look at family relationships and how that they can influence us. Another favorite miniseries, this one is Cranford with Dame Judi Dench. She is fantastic in Cranford. I mean, she is truly amazing in this movie, whatever, call it a movie. I really love how Cranford takes these small little doings in a tiny little town and it makes it important. You know, like if there was a robbery down the street, the whole town is in an uproar. You know, the train comes to town, they're putting in a railway, and of course the whole town is just in an uproar. So there's all this little drama, but it feels so important to the people in that little town. The only Anne of Green Gables adaptation that I like, out of all the Anne of Green Gables that there has ever been, and there's a lot of them, the only one I like is the one with Megan Follows. She just is Anne in my mind. I grew up watching these movies and these adaptations, Anne of Green Gables, Anne of Avonlea, Anne of the Island. You know, I just can't, I just cannot watch any other ones because any other Anne just annoys me. I only like this one. And when I read the books, this cast of characters are the people that I see as the characters. That is Marilla and Matthew. That is Diana Barry. You know, that is Gilbert Blythe. There just can't be another Gilbert Blythe. He just is him. Now, my very favorite Little Princess adaptation is the one with Shirley Temple, but I also really like the 1995 one. Especially, I love the way that they incorporated more of the Indian heritage that Sarah Crewe would have grown up with into her story. And so it wasn't just, you know, her life before Miss Minchin's school was just a blank. Like there was some heritage and there was some history in there that they kind of added in and they really incorporated that into the movie. I thought that was really special. One of my favorites from when I was a girl is The Secret of Rowan Inish. This is about a girl who moves back to the country in Ireland where her family grew up. And she kind of rediscovers her heritage there, and she searches for her missing baby brother. It's just so full of these beautiful Irish legends. I have a little bit of Irish in me, as do most people in Georgia. So I always feel like this one is connecting to that small part of my Irish American heritage. Now, this is one of the ones that might be slightly embarrassing to say that it's one of my favorite movies, but I don't care. It's Clueless with Alicia Silverstone. I don't care how dumb it is. I know it's dumb. I know it's idiotic, but I just love it. Emma is my favorite of all of Jane Austen's stories. And so I love the elements of this retelling of Emma. And plus I just love how it reminds me of the 90s. It's funny, it's silly, it's idiotic, and somehow underneath all that, there's this beautiful, heartfelt romance and drama and family connections and friendship. It's all in there. I don't care how dumb it is. I love it. Another favorite of mine that is a remake of one of my favorite old movies is Sabrina. In 1995, they remade the old Sabrina, this time with Harrison Ford and Julia Ormond. I really can't decide which Sabrina I like more. The old one with Humphrey Bogart and Audrey Hepburn, or the new one with Harrison Ford. I just don't know. They both have such lovely elements to them that make them really special. I just can't decide. I think they're both fantastic. One of my favorite rom-coms that I watch over and over and over is Return to Me with Minnie Driver and David Duchovny. They have such a fantastic chemistry. And again, this is one of those movies that at the heart of it, it's really about family connections. I guess I just like movies about families. I don't know. Minnie Driver has this massive, loud, really rambunctious family. And poor David Duchovny is all by himself. He really has no family. He has like one friend. And so he is kind of welcomed into this family. And it's just such a lovely, beautiful love story. It's hilarious. It's so much fun. I just cannot express how much I love this movie. Another one that I love is Music and Lyrics with Drew Barrymore and Hugh Grant. As a musician, I love, movies about musicians. Hugh Grant is this out-of-work old has-been pianist and singer who used to be part of a big band, like a big famous band in the 80s. And he hasn't written any new songs in years, and along comes Drew Barrymore, who is a poet and writer, and they together write music and lyrics, and they fall in love, and it's adorable. One of my favorite action-adventure movies is National Treasure with Nicolas Cage. I love puzzles and codes and history, and National Treasure just has everything I could ever want. I also like the second National Treasure movie. I still think that one's really good, but I don't love it as much as the first one. I do like them both, though. I really love a lot of the Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan rom-coms, but my very favorite one of all the movies they did together is You've Got Mail. Of course, I am a very bookish person, as you can see from all the books, and so this entire movie basically revolves around books and writing, and so naturally, I absolutely adore it. Another favorite Tom Hanks movie is That Thing You Do. Again, it's about musicians. They form a band and they make it big and they become famous, and then all of a sudden, creative differences and their band breaks up, and now what are they gonna do? It is really hilarious and funny. The music is fantastic. I actually have the soundtrack to this because I love the music so much. Tom Hanks plays the manager of the band, and Liv Tyler is in there, of course, with some, dramatic romance and everything. That Thing You Do is a favorite family movie that my whole family loves to sit down and watch together. Another favorite of mine is The Rocketeer. I just love the action and adventure in this one, the mystery. I love the setting. I think it's set in World War II or just after World War II. Or just before World War II. Anyway, it's somewhere in there because the Nazis are sending spies over to America. It's all kind of fantastic adventure. Another favorite movie is It Could Happen to You. This is a rom-com from 1994 where a police officer wins the lottery and he splits his lottery ticket with a poor waitress as part of her tip at a restaurant. So it's really hilarious. It's just such a fun romance. It's just adorable. An Ideal Husband has Cate Blanchett and Jeremy Northam and Minnie Driver and Rupert Everett. It is hilarious and funny and just very elaborate. Like, I love all the costumes and the rich decor and everything. All of the lines are, very witty. I love the story and the drama and the characters and all their witty humor. It's wonderful. Another favorite from Oscar Wilde is The Importance of Being Earnest. This one has Reese Witherspoon and Colin Firth and Rupert Everett, and it is completely hilarious and silly and idiotic from start to finish. Again, they have very elaborate costumes and sets and everything. I really like the way they took kind of the bare bones of the play and they enhanced it a little bit and gave it maybe like some more meat on the bones of the story. It's completely hilarious from start to finish. It's just one of my favorites. I like the Ocean's 11 trilogy, Ocean's 11, 12, and 13. George Clooney and Brad Pitt and all those guys. It's funny and interesting and elaborate. I really love complex plots where there's a lot going on and you have to keep track of all the different moving pieces, and then all of a sudden it all comes together at the end and you're like, yes, that was awesome. How did they do that? This one, though, does cause me some moral dilemma because they're the bad guys. They're thieves. They're criminals. You're not supposed to want them to succeed. And yet somehow I always end up rooting for those bad guys. They're just so charming and suave. Of course, on this list, I have to have Lord of the Rings, the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Unfortunately, I am not putting the Hobbit trilogy on this list because they just, I don't know what they thought they were doing with The Hobbit. They really went a little crazy. Lord of the Rings, there are certainly things that I do not like in this adaptation. Things that they left out, things that were in the books, and then they changed it, and I didn't like it. I wanted it to be just like the book. But for what it is, I like it. It's good. It's one of my favorites. I rewatch it all the time. Man, I watch it with commentary. You know I love it. Another favorite where I wish they had done it more like the books, and I have some problems with some of the things that they did, but I still overall love it, Harry Potter. You gotta love the Harry Potter movies. They really, for what they did a good job. Is it perfect? No, Is it exactly like the books? No. But it's still a forever favorite that I watch many, many times and listen to the soundtrack. One of the things that, of course, they did really, really well in the Harry Potter movies is the casting. I mean, every time I read the books, I see this cast as the characters. I cannot imagine another Luna Lovegood or another Hermione. I just can't. They just are those characters. You know, McGonagall and Dumbledore and all those guys. They just are that person in my mind now. And you can never change that now. Too late. So those are my super top favorites. And now I'm gonna go through and just list the names and maybe some of the actors in some of my other favorites. These are still movies that I love and watch over and over again, and I really, really love them. But I just don't have time to talk about every single one. I love, 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 love the Star Wars original trilogy. The other Star Wars movies, it's either like I just flat out hate it, or hey, some of these new ones are pretty good. I like this. This is good. I am enjoying this. But they're not like, wow, my favorite thing ever. You know, the Star Wars original, that's my favorite thing ever. The rest of it is just icing on the cake. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, I'm glad that's there. There is just something, I can't even put my finger on it. You can analyze Star Wars to death, and many people have, but there is something so enchanting about the Star Wars original trilogy. I can't even put my finger on it, but it is just good storytelling. I really like the 1995 adaptation of Sense and Sensibility. This one has Emma Thompson and Kate Winslet and Hugh Grant, and I really like the chemistry between the two sisters, Emma Thompson and Kate Winslet. I really like the way that they interact with one another, because the whole book is about these two sisters and their relationship, and I love it. Okay, now I said I wasn't gonna talk about these. Guys, I'm supposed to be just saying the title, and I'm getting roped into saying and talking about them instead. No talking. Oh no, guys, the next one on my list is The Pride and Prejudice with Colin Firth. I have to talk about it. Oh. My favorite Pride and Prejudice adaptation ever is the one with Greer Garson. But I do love Colin Firth as Mr. Darcy. He's just so good. Oh, I can't decide. But I love Laurence Olivier as Mr. Darcy. They're both so good. Okay, no more talking. Just say the titles. Enchanted with Amy Adams and Susan Sarandon and Patrick Dempsey. Phantom of the Opera with Emmy Rossum. Cyrano de Bergerac with Gerard Depardieu. Much Ado About Nothing with Emma Thompson and Kate Beckinsale. Stranger Than Fiction with Will Ferrell and Emma Thompson. Serendipity with Kate Beckinsale and John Cusack. Legally Blonde with Reese Witherspoon. I know it's dumb, I don't care. Ever After with Drew Barrymore. I know it's dumb, I don't care. The Sandlot, a classic. Nanny McPhee with Colin Firth and Emma Thompson. Stardust with Claire Danes. The 1994 Little Women. Sleepless in Seattle with Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. And Joe versus the Volcano with Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. The Terminal with Tom Hanks and Catherine Zeta-Jones. 2 Weeks Notice with Sandra Bullock and Hugh Grant. My Best Friend's Wedding with Julia Roberts. My Big Fat Greek Wedding. Just thinking about that movie actually just makes me laugh. Just saying the title of that movie makes me laugh. Probably the only Jim Carrey movie that I like, The Truman Show. Chocolat with Dame Judi Dench and Johnny Depp. The Lake House with Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock. Miss Congeniality with Sandra Bullock. While You Were Sleeping with Sandra Bullock and Bill Pullman. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days with Matthew McConaughey and Kate Hudson. Raising Helen with Kate Hudson and Alex and Emma with Kate Hudson. Only You with Robert Downey Jr. Heart and Souls from 1993 with Robert Downey Jr. Never Been Kissed with Drew Barrymore. Cold Comfort Farm with Kate Beckinsale. The live-action Beauty and the Beast with Emma Watson and Dan Stevens. The Indiana Jones Trilogy with Harrison Ford. Notice I said trilogy because we're going to pretend like the other movie just never happened. School of Rock with Jack Black. I kind of have to say I don't really like Jack Black, but I love music. And I am a music teacher, and so I really love School of Rock because it's all about the kids learning to love music. The Iron Man trilogy with Robert Downey Jr. and Gwyneth Paltrow. Out of all the Avengers movies, and I love them all, I love the Iron Man trilogy the best. Hancock with Will Smith, and I, Robot with Will Smith. Mr. and Mrs. Smith with Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. And those are my favorite modern movies. Please leave me a comment down below and let me know what are some of your favorite movies. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and remember the right book in the right hands at the right time can change the world.